Let's go to JD. JD is next up on PTL. Hello, JD.
Hi, Brian. Regarding the pardons, the preemptive pardons you brought up, you didn't mention Liz Cheney or Adam Kissinger. And 20 minutes before President Biden left office, he pardoned his two brothers, their wives, his sister, her husband. Pardon me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening to you. Let me respond to that. First of all, no, you're right. I didn't list every single person that Joe Biden pardoned. What I did do is speak in general terms that I disagree with what Joe Biden did with these pardons, and I named a few. So with that being said, I have something called intellectual honesty. Let's test it out with you. Are you okay with Donald Trump pardoning those who committed violent acts on January 6th? Are you okay back in 2020 when he hold on, let me finish.
I'll answer the question. No.
Okay, good.
I'm not okay
so
with
if he
it.
does that, will you call that out as well?
I'm not finished with the pardon.
Okay, well,
he also pardoned the J6 committee members and their staffers.
As I said again, JD, as I say again, I am not okay with what Joe Biden did. I've established that. I'm now asking you, you will call out Donald Trump if he pardons any January 6th.
Exactly.
Okay, let me ask you another. Were you calling into conservative radio shows when Donald Trump pardoned murderers, those who murdered innocent civilians in Iraq? You can look it up if you don't believe me. Are you okay with Donald Trump pardoning murderers? And did you call in complaining about it?
No, I don't, and I apologize. I'm trying to search my memory to see if I remember that.
Okay.
But since you bring up murderers, Biden has also pardoned 2,500 criminals.
Okay,
and
sure.
about 35 murderers in that group.
I find it interesting that you have exact numbers when it comes to Joe Biden pardons, but all of a sudden you don't.
Going back
hold
years.
on.
Years.
All of a sudden you don't recollect the pardons of Donald Trump.
Let
me be very clear. I don't think pardons should be allowed. I don't think any president should be able to pardon anybody. I think if you break the law, you should be held to the highest extent of the laws. I don't agree with any of that.
Go back to Iraq. Refresh my memory. Try to tell me who and what.
Okay. Why should I have to go on the air and try to refresh your memory? I just told you what he did.
Never mind. I asked you what I thought was
what Donald Trump did.
All right, never mind.
Okay, I'll educate you. I'll educate you because when it comes to Joe Biden, you know every single person on that list. But when it comes to your Lord and Savior, Cheeto Jesus, all of a sudden you have Alzheimer's. So I'll explain it to you. There were American soldiers that were charged with war crimes and convicted of war crimes, murder. They murdered.
Are they the ones that shot somebody from a helicopter?
Wait a minute. Let me finish.
Are they someone who shot someone from a helicopter?
You're going to interrupt me now? They were convicted of murder. They murdered innocent Iraqi civilians. Donald Trump decided to pardon them. It shouldn't matter whether they're in a helicopter or in outer space. When you kill innocent people and they are charged and convicted of it, they should not be pardoned. So now that I have recollected your memory, for lack of a better term, I am able to go on the air and in a general term say I disagree with what Joe Biden did today because I don't believe there's any evidence that Dr. Fauci committed any crimes. I don't think there's any evidence to General Milley committed any crimes. And I disagree with what Joe Biden did. But you're the first. Hold on.
Do you want to know?
But why is it that you're the first person to call into a show to complain about Joe Biden and list all the people that he pardoned? But yet, when it comes to Donald Trump, that was many years ago, and I don't recollect. It's called having intellectual honesty.
It's obviously fresh on my mind. They just announced it an hour ago.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Donald Trump's pardons, hours and days after it happened. Did you call into any right-wing conservative talk show when it was, quote, fresh on your mind? Did you call in and criticize Donald Trump for those pardons? Yes or no?
I already answered the question.
So if the answer is no, then don't make an excuse that it's fresh on my mind. No, JD, you're biased. You know what I did when it was fresh on my mind today? I did something that you MAGA morons are incapable of doing. I went on the air, and even though I voted for Joe Biden, I criticized him. And I said, I believe, in my opinion, he was wrong for what he did today. But you're not capable of doing that. You have probably never called into a conservative radio show once when Donald Trump was president and criticized him for anything. So it's fresh on my mind, JD, but somehow you have Alzheimer's and you're in the bunker when somebody does something like pardon murderers, you need to have your brain, you need recollection for that. So, JD, let this be a lesson to you. Okay, you're still on the line, but let this be a lesson to you. When it's fresh on your mind, show that you're intellectually honest, which I'm not sure you are, and you've proven that in this phone call, because you don't remember the people that Donald Trump pardoned, but you remember every person, so much so, since it's, quote, fresh on your mind, you named all of them, even though I've criticized him for that. So, JD, when Donald Trump doesn't end the war in the Ukraine in 24 hours, because it's still going to be going on tomorrow, when he doesn't deport 20 million illegals, which he promised that he would, and when he pardons January 6th insurrectionists, some of whom committed violent crimes, when it's fresh on your mind, are you going to call into shows and criticize Donald Trump? Yes or no?
I already did it with you once.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. I had to ask you. No, you didn't. I had to ask you.
You asked me, and I answered the question.
You
and I
don't.
did it in the past in a prior call. Can I speak?
I'm sorry, JD. My memory has lost me. I'm sorry. I just forgot who you are. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. JD, I'm sorry. You're not fresh on my mind. Have a nice day and take a hike, you MAGA buffoon.